Well, we're back from the Ford show, which went really well. We had a really good time. After the show, we always go around the truck and give it the once over, do all the normal checks, go around it. And the truck's running great. The truck's running great, but we have got a big problem with the engine, and the engine is coming out. Come and have a look what it's done. So on the engine, it's got, this is how the engine's held in. It's got a plate across the front of the engine and a plate across the back of the engine. They're called motor plates. And we use them to mount the engine. It doesn't use the normal engine mounts on the side of the block. We actually use the end of the block, and our one has got a big crack in it. So if I get the torch down here, I don't know if Georgina, can you see?
Oh, yeah, you can definitely see that.
That is not meant to be like that.
Yeah.
We can't leave it like that. That would cause a lot of damage. I think it's repairable. I think we might be able to weld it, but we're taking it out.
And then we're going to put the one that's under the blue tarp in.
Yeah, so to take it out, we take all the bodywork off. First thing we do is drain the oil, drain the water, take all the radiator system out.
Which we just put back in.
Which is literally just been put back in. What else do we do? Got to disconnect the gearbox from it. And then we have to take all the supercharger and all of that off the top, all the exhausts off, and then we can lift it out the top. So, oh, and also we lower it down to the ground. Once we've taken the oil out, we lower the monster truck down to the ground.
Makes it easy to work on.
It is a lot easier to work on. So we'll show you what we do.
So we're taking out our Lucas Oil with our Lucas Oil sticker. And then...
So look how clean that looks. Look at that.
Well, we only just put it in just before the show.
Yeah, but it's still done a whole show. It still looks like new. Top quality oil from Lucas Oil. Okay, so nearly at the stage. So we've got everything disconnected of the engine. The only thing that's still in it at the minute is the distributor. But what we're going to do before we lift it out, if you look down in here, you can't really get to this that easily when the truck's in the air and it's all assembled. So we're going to get the airline now and just blow all the little bits of dirt and grass debris out there, because we've got to take this apart in a minute. The microphone, if you've got headphones on, that probably didn't help. So yeah, so next thing to do is to lift the supercharger off the top. So the supercharger is all disconnected, so it's got all the fuel taken off the other side. These bolts are aluminium, and if it's designed so if this has a backfire, it stops the supercharger flying up in there, because it's designed to snap them bolts, and then these hold the supercharger down. But as you can see now, it is not connected.
Are we ready for lift-off?
No.
Oh.
This weighs more than you.
Well, yeah, it's not hard.
Need to be a little bit higher. Right, let's see if we can get it off now. Right, slide that in there. Superchargers, they look aluminium, but they're really heavy. Ta-da! One supercharged trolley.
Starts doing a wheelie.
Now this is really top heavy now. Right, next thing, we have to get the other engine out now.
Which is over there.
He's buried over there.
Oh man, we've got to move everything to get to that. Rolling away. Here's the next piece of the puzzle.
Da 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 da! Spare engine!
Ta-da! Is that the hot tub stuff?
That's hot tub stuff, yeah. Just in case I want to put a hot tub in a monster truck. Ta-da! So this one is
bigger.
Bigger, more power. 575 this one. Things we got to swap over on it. So we got to put a different intake on it. We've got to put the different pulley system on the front of it, and also the drive for the fuel pump system.
Are we changing these?
I got to change the rocker covers as well. Yeah, but that's easy to change. So next thing we do,
I suppose we've got to move the trailer.
Got to go and get the trailer and get a forklift. Bring this one out.
And also get that one out. Oh, you can't see in there.
So we are getting there. So Georgina is just cleaning up the intake manifold. So this is the engine that came out. Did we video it coming out? No. Oh, we didn't video it coming out. We're just cracking on trying to get it. So this is the one that's damaged, and it's even worse than we thought it was. So it has only got one bolt. So that is one of the engine mounts. It has snapped that one off there. It has snapped the one off the bottom, and it cracked the one at the top. What a mess. You can't see it because it's behind the motor plate, but yeah, we noticed that one had gone. We didn't realise that that one was still attached to the motor plate and it wouldn't spin round. Yeah, so
Not as salvageable.
it might be salvageable. We're not sure. But so at the moment so this is the engine that come out. So we've taken the intake off of that one. That's what Georgina's cleaning up now, because it's slightly different. So that's the engine what's going in. What else do we have to swap over? I have to swap over all of the front of the blower drive. So I have to pull the snub off the front of it and then push it all back on. It's really, really tight. I've got a special tool for that. The fuel pump's done. Georgina's cleared up the bit for the water rail. So the water rail is ready to go on. I'm just going to put that on in a minute. Flex plate is on at the back. And then on this engine, the oil system's slightly different, and I'll have to find the piece that goes in the side of it there, because it's a different size to the one that goes in that one. So this one is a Merlin block, a World Power block, and that one's a Dart block. They're fairly similar, but they are cast slightly different. So yeah, so not all the bits are interchangeable. But yeah, so we should have that one back in fairly soon. And then that one can go off down to my friend Zane Llewellyn at Zane Tech for see if he can do his magic on it. So Georgina finished cleaning up the intake. We've got it all bolted on, and we've got the engine sat back in the truck. Next thing we've got to do is start putting the motor plates back on, though it's only got half of it on at the minute. Then we can start putting all the intake and everything all back on. Got to find the adapter that goes on this fuel pump. I've got it somewhere in the trailer, I think. It's all taped up, so I should be able to find it. But yeah, so we're getting there. Okay, so I think it's about time for an update. I think last time you saw the engine, it didn't even have the supercharger on it. So yeah, so Georgina has done her magic and been polishing everything. Look at it all. It looks really good. So yeah, so what else have we done? So
got radiator in.
All the water system is back in the truck. The fuel system's back on. We've just connected up the flex plate to the engine and to the gearbox.
And the starter motor's in.
And the starter motor's back in.
Oil filter is in.
Yeah, we're just putting in Lucas oil now, and then
the distributor.
No, so what we're going to do before we put the distributor in, we're going to prime the oil system. So I've got an adapter that plugs into a drill, and that we can actually turn the oil pump and pump oil all the way around the engine, and then we can turn it over on the supercharger belt to make sure everything's got a really, really nice coating of oil. So this engine is the engine I had in, I'm trying to remember when I put this one. I think this engine hasn't been in for about a year, is it?
No, we changed it last year.
I changed it last year. So yeah, it broke a lifter and it damaged the camshaft in it. So it's had a new camshaft, all new lifters in it, and a couple of push rods and stuff as well. So that's what's been done to this one. Before that, he actually hasn't done that many hours. I think the reason why it broke the lifter is we had a problem with the MSD distributor. It lost the signal trigger on the top of it, came disconnected. So it basically, the engine was running at any time, and it put a lot of force into the lifters and broke the lifters. So yeah, so what we got to do now? So I got another, that's 5 litres. So it takes 12 litres, this engine of oil. So I've got to put a bit more, another load of oil in it. and then we can show you how we prime the monster truck oil system up for the first time fire up. Right, so now we're at the stage of priming it up. So this is what goes into the oil pump, which is in the bottom of the engine. So it bypasses the camshaft, and this would normally be driven off the camshaft, but we're missing that out. And then we're just going to take the cover off now. So this is a little cover we keep on the top of it to make sure no dirt goes down there while we're working on it. So then we drop this in. Oh, I just realised I don't normally do this with the water stuff on. I might have to drop that in and then put it in afterwards. Right, let's drop that in. That's it, it's got it in there. Alright, so as I'm doing that, I'm actually watching the oil pressure gauge. So if I stop it, if Georgina climbs up in the cab.
Go for it.
Okay, so you ready? Video in?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm on the drill. Georgina's in the cab. Watch the oil pump, oil pressure gauge.
Whee!
Right, and then it'll drop down. So what we're going to do now is turn over the engine now, and then so that everything's in a different place, and then we can lubricate it again. So all I'm going to do is grab hold of the supercharger. Quite easy to turn over at the moment because we're doing this with no spark plugs or nothing. You probably notice the exhaust on at the minute. It's just easier to do it like this. So as soon as you put the spark plugs in it, it makes it a lot harder to turn it over. All right, let's turn it over a bit. All right, turn it over again. Okay, that's it finished. That's it all primed up. Now, so let's set the time in, and then we can get all the exhaust back on, put the spark plugs in it, and then it should run. Okay, so now we're setting up the timing. The way I do it on my truck, so at the moment I've put the truck on the top dead centre. So if you can see
try.
down in there, there's two little spiky things sticking out. You might want to zoom in on it.
Yeah, I'm just focusing, then zoom in. Right.
Right,
Yeah,
so the two little spiky things, they line up and there's two dots behind them. That is top dead centre on the truck.
Oh yeah, I see the two little dots.
Yeah, yeah. And then the distributor has been dropped in, and this mark there on the distributor, that little bit there,
Hold on. Hold
that black line, that is the firing for number one. So now, that and that line up, that is firing on top dead centre. But we don't want to fire on top dead centre, we want to fire at 32 degrees. So what we do now, there's another mark on here, a bit further round. So if you...
I'll try my best to try and zoom in. Right. Go
see there's two dots a bit further down.
Yeah, I see the two little dots.
That's it there, so that's it. That should be on 32 degrees now. And then what we do there, so now we just turn it to there to line that up with that.
So this one doesn't advance on its own, does it?
This one does, this one's got an advance in it.
Ooh.
But we should be in the ballpark at that. Right, it's all back together. We've raised the suspension back up. So this is the height it is when it's normally running. So should we see if it starts?
Hopefully it will.
Hopefully it will, right. Gonna build the oil pressure up first, so I'm just gonna crank it over. So I'm gonna bump it first. Okay, and now I'm gonna crank it over to build oil pressure up. Alright, so I'm not going to pull the methanol, I'm just going to see if it starts on the pedal. I think it's close. Alright, so now I'm going to put the petrol in and then I'm going to pull the methanol and let's see if it runs.
Hopefully.
Hopefully the timing should be somewhere near close.
Eyeballing it.
Eyeballed it. Well, we said it's static, haven't we?
Yeah.
So It's going to be close at that. It's done, it fixed, it's worked. Really, really good oil pressure on it. Really, really happy. So
Just got to put all the bodywork back on.
put all the bodywork back on
and get it ready for the show.
and get it loaded in the trailer.
Yeah.
So, we going to video the rest of it, or was that going to be it for the video?
I think that should be it for the video.
That's going to be it for the video. So, we've changed the Heart of Swamp Thing yet again. But, yeah, really, really happy how it's turned out. And we've got more power! More power. So, this engine's even bigger than the one we took out. So, that's why it sounds different, doesn't it?
Sounds way more low end.
Yeah, this one booms, the other one crackled. This one booms because it's another litre bigger.
Suck me in the smoke, breathe me in and let me go. Filling the lungs inside you. And the blackened eyes make my way into your mind. Just to know